speaker, Peter Mutua. From then to now, a story of leadership development. From then to now, a story of leadership development. Peter Mutua.
I want to be president so that I can speak. I was surprised when that statement was made. First, by the person who made it. Steve was no more than 10 years old. Secondly, because I knew exactly what he meant by those words. And third, and most surprising of all, because that is what I had thought in my heart since I graduated from high school. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. When Steve made that particular statement, it was a treasonable offense in Kenya. You were not supposed to imagine a vacancy in the office of Kenya's president. The holder of that high office was above law. Whatever he proclaimed happened. Whatever he said was done immediately. He was above the law. He was immune from persecution for any consequence of any decision that he made. He could do anything that he wanted. Whatever issue the president decided to speak about, whatever comment he made in passing, was executed with diligence, speed, and where necessary with brutal efficiency. That was the nature of Kenya's presidency at that point. And I remember a particular incident that illustrated this for me very, very clearly. I was in high school, and the president attended a passing out parade close to our school. And he was supposed to come by our school on his way to another location. And it was decided by the school administration that the entire student body would go outside the gate and wait for the president to cheer him on. All of us were sent out of the gate. And for 4 hours we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And after many false alarms, then we saw the first car from the president's entourage speeding at us, lights blazing. Then the second, then the third, then an entire convoy of cars coming at high speed. We were excited. The excitement there was palpable. We watched and we waited and we cringed. And then we began to cheer hysterically. And then the cars passed, one after the other, and we thought this man is not going to stop. We were almost heartbroken. We were anxious, and then suddenly the cars began to slow down. And I tell you what I saw for myself. The cars came to an end, and there were men jumping out of moving vehicles. Have you ever seen that for yourselves? And they jumped out, jumped down, surrounded the president's limousine, and looked at us fiercely and meanly. Microphones were set up, everything was ready for him, and then the door opened slowly. And out stepped His Excellency the President, Daniel Arap Moi. And I can tell you for a fact that the atmosphere in that place changed physically. I felt his presence from where I was standing. And he approached the microphone. And he spoke. Unfortunately, I do not remember what he said. I remember how he said it. And I remember that he gave our school 10,000 shillings, cash. But the words he used was that, give these children food that they may eat, get full, and put a little more flesh on their bones. Apparently, he wasn't very impressed by how scrawny looking we were. I think we looked particularly small. The first clarifying statement he asked when he came out of his car is this a primary or a secondary school? Which is telling. And in conclusion, as he finished his speech, he made a passing comment. He said, I think you should visit one of the hydroelectric plants in Kenya. And there's one in Turkey. And with that, he entered his car, off he went. What happened next is what demonstrated to me how powerful his words were. As soon as President Moi left for Nairobi, the Central Province Commissioner came to our school, went to our headmaster's office and asked, how many students are there in this school? And it was decided immediately that at the government's cost, 350 of the candidates would go to Turkwell, more than 600 kilometers away. By that time, the president hadn't even gotten to Nairobi, and his instructions were being implemented there and then. And to me, that's what it meant to be president. That when I speak, people will not only listen to me with rapt attention, but will immediately, with fear and trembling, implement exactly what I have said, exactly when I said it. But I've taken time to reflect on this model of leadership. That one that commands and controls, in which everything from traffic flow, flight schedules, public meetings, events, everything rotates around the leader. They are the center of the universe. Everything and everyone exists to serve them, meet their needs, pamper their egos. And while this is irresistibly intoxicating, it corsets the leader and does nothing to benefit the led. And rather than putting the leader up on a pedestal, what it does is digs and depresses everybody else and puts them below the leader. And in my desperate search for the alternative leadership, I came to Toastmasters. And at the first meeting, I met a president whose hand I was allowed to shake, who didn't mind that I didn't refer to them with their title. And much more, that president was much more interested in me than I was in them. And I was amazed that after a few years, I too was qualified to be president. I love that new kind of leadership that seeks to serve before being served and puts other people's interests before their own. And I am now delighted that I've experienced a change of heart. Yes, I want to be president, but so that I can listen and serve. Madam Toastmaster.